He has made certain statements to clarify for us that. For example, he said, "Ad-du'a huwa al-ibadah." Calling, when you call on someone, this is prayer. This is worship. So if you call on anyone besides Allah, you are in fact involved in worshipping other than Allah. Very important, because all of those people who have been caught up in the practice of praying to intermediaries, calling on others besides Allah, in order that their worship or their needs may be fulfilled by Allah, all of this involves worshipping other than Allah. This is a big fitna right now in the Ummah, in the Muslim Ummah. You have a large body of people who daily call on others besides Allah. Whether in graves, they go to graveyards. You find in certain parts of the Muslim world masjids where there are graves in the masjids, you know. Or the person may not be, there may not be any grave there, but the person has been identified as one on whom you call, so people call on them. This is something which is a trial to the Muslim world today. People calling on other than Allah. And the tragedies that Muslims now are experiencing are a direct result of this. Because if you're calling on other than Allah, how can you expect your prayers to be answered? When Allah has described this as being the only unforgivable sin. But because some people have made distinctions in the minds of the people that when you call on a saint, you know, a righteous man or whatever, this is not worshipping him. You know, they've brought some kind of logics to people. You know, they tell them, well, listen, you know, if you want to go and see the Prime Minister, what's his name, Major? You want to go and see, you know, Mr. Major. You cannot go down, this is Downing Street, is that where he stays? You cannot just go down there and knock on the door and come in and say, listen, you know, Major, I'd like to sit down and have a talk with you. It doesn't work like that, you know. You have to see your local representative, you know, who will talk to the person in the party, who will talk to the people in the parliament or whatever, you know. These things have to take a route. You know, and after your idea is taken the proper route, you know, the channel of, or the, what they call the correct steps or procedures, then it reaches, you know, the Prime Minister, then he makes a ruling on it, then you can be benefited. So they say, well, you know, it's like this with us also. You know, when you want to pray to God, you know, you who are so dirty with all your sins, you're covered with all these dirty sins. How many sins you're committing every day? Can you stand up before God and expect Him to hear your prayers? So dirty? No, no. You have to pray, call on somebody who is pure. You know, like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or you know, one of the saints, you know, who's close to Allah. You call on them, and they will carry your prayer to Allah, and then it will be answered. And of course, you know, the common person, when he hears it, does seem to make sense. Sure, you can't go to the Prime Minister. It makes sense. But it's because they have not understood the essence of Tawheed that we talked about, the uniqueness of Allah. That though this is how things work in this life, in the dunya here, that's how things effectively function. This is not the case with Allah. And if you make Allah function in the same way that the dunya does, then you're making Allah like His creation. He's no longer unique. He's just like the Prime Minister. But no, Allah has made it clear in the Quran, "Ud'uni astajib lakum." Call on me and I will answer you. He didn't say call on my friends and I will answer you. No, no. He said, "Ud'uni," call on me. So this means that the case with Allah is different. It is unique. He answers directly. We don't need any intermediaries. So this is a major fitna, as I said, that the ummah is very important for us to try to carry this message, not only to understand it ourselves, but to carry it to others, to let them understand what Tawheed actually means, so that they can free themselves from this delusion, from this shirk. Actually, is what it is. In essence, it's shirk, which is destroying the quality of their worship. And instead of bringing the blessings of Allah, it is bringing Allah's curse on themselves. We also have Allah saying in the Quran as further emphasis, and there are many verses, إِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي أَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِي. You know, if this is Allah speaking to the Prophet ﷺ, saying to him, if my worshippers ask about me, tell them that I am close. I hear the call of the one who calls on me. I hear and I answer it. These are the type of verses we need to take to those people who are caught up in this kind of saint worship, and which has led them, as I said, to have deviated really from what is Tawheed in Islam and what is Ibadah, what is worship in Islam. When we go back again to look at Ibadah and the Sharia, we find many, many different things that we have been commanded to do. And what we have to understand is that the essence of that worship which is most pleasing to Allah are the things which Allah made compulsory for us. Because you have many different acts of worship. For example, dhikrullah is another area of fitna for people. Dhikrullah, people talk about. Remembrance of Allah. وَلَا ذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ. You know, Allah says this is the greatest remembrance of Allah. أَقِمُ الصَّلَاةَ لِذِكْرِي. Establish the prayer for my remembrance. So much in the Quran speaking about the remembrance of Allah. It is a key principle in Islam. But some people have taken this and interpreted it to mean that we will sit in the morning after Fajr and repeat thousands of times Allah, 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 Allah. Or Al-Qadir, 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 Al-Qadir. And people have worked out formulas, you know, blessings that will come to you if you do these things. There's a book I remember seeing called The 100 Steps, what was it called? By Hans Freelander. Anybody remember what the name of that book is? It's called The 100 Steps, I think. Yeah, 100 Steps. But what it is talking about the 99 names of Allah. He has, each page has got one of Allah's name. Then it tells you if you say this name, you know, 50 times in the morning, and you blow it over water and you drink it, and you say it 50 times after Maghrib, and you blow it over water and you drink it, you know, if your wife couldn't have a baby, she'll have a baby. You know, really, really crazy stuff, you know. But this is what the book is full of. And this book, although it's translated into English, it exists in Urdu and in a number of other languages, you know. It is quite it's amongst the common masses. So this is what the remembrance of Allah has become. And what you will find is that people, the common people, they will know all these things. They will go and research all of these things, but they're not making 5 times daily prayer. They don't get up for Fajr. But if you ask them about these dhikrs, they can tell you what each dhikr is going to do.